Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for Euro 2020 fantasy football content. My name is Dan and it is time for the final of the Euros, the final match day, and this will be my final Euro fantasy video before the final. We'll do one more after this. We'll do a review, I guess, see where I finish off, do my final score reviews after the Euros finish. But yeah, this is going to be the last one, guys. So yeah, we're going to mix in a few things into one video today, because although this video is usually looking at my scores and looking at how I'm going to set up for next week, a lot of you guys have requested a wildcard video or a Limitless video for this final match day. And as it turns out, I was thinking about doing 2 videos for this. As it turns out, the team that I'm actually able to afford using the transfers that I've got and the money I have in the bank, I can actually already make what I consider to be the perfect Limitless / wildcard team anyway. So hopefully, guys, this is going to work for all of you. If you're on a Limitless, if you're on a wildcard, if you're just using your plain old transfers, you can achieve this team, which is, in my opinion, the best we could possibly do. Obviously, if we look at the team sheets, things might change a little bit later, but for now, this is my favourite team, and I'm going to talk to you all about why that is. So, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like. Please do subscribe if you're new around here, as we approach the end of the Euro content completely, and we move on to some other stuff, some Fantasy Premier League stuff. But yeah, guys, without further ado, let's have a look at my Matchday 6 scores. So here we are, a matchday score of 37, a total score of 365 there, and my world rank, well, it hasn't changed. It pretty much hasn't changed. I've moved like maybe 50 places or 100 places or something like that. Really, barely any movement whatsoever. So I'm guessing that a score of 37 is probably about average for a top 10k player at Euro Fantasy, which I guess that's respectable, I suppose. But yes, there's not much divergence in teams anymore, really. Everyone's kind of, you can only pick for a certain amount of players. So yeah, but there are a few things. Obviously, Kane scored the penalty, but he also missed the penalty, so only 4 points for Kane, as to double to captain for 8 points. Yazabal, he missed 2 huge chances, so he could have very easily gotten a score sheet. Immobile, a little bit disappointing again. Sterling looking good again. Damsgaard with a fantastic free kick. Insigne possibly could have got a little bit more out of that game, I think, but maybe not looking as good without that Spinazzola behind him. Harry Maguire, unfortunately, just get the 1 point because of that yellow card. Emerson was, you could maybe call it lucky that Emerson was substituted off before Italy conceded a goal, which means that Emerson got to keep his clean sheet. You could say he's a little bit lucky, and it is definitely a little bit lucky, but on the other hand, when you pick fullbacks instead of centre-backs, you also have that possibility of fullbacks being substituted off the pitch. They're going to be the guys who are substituted early, whereas the centre-backs will probably play the whole 120 minutes, which gives more opportunity for them to concede a goal. Whereas the fullbacks, get them rotated off before the clean sheet is lost. Mela 0 pointer on this one, and this is probably my biggest annoyance of the week. Is I was so set on not subbing in Mela. I was just going to leave in Alba. I was so happy to just leave in Alba, and I tweeted out, guys, I tweeted, guys, I'm not going to put Mela in. I don't think he's going to score more than 1 point today. I really think England is going to score twice, so it's going to leave Mela on 1 point at absolute maximum. And everyone sort of in the replies was like, Dan, you're crazy, you have to play Mela. Just take off Alba, it's fine. It's, what's the worst that can happen? You can only lose a maximum of 1 point, so what's the point? You just put Mela in. And I kind of bottled it like maybe 30 seconds before deadline, and I am 2 points short because of the fact that I didn't follow my own advice, I didn't follow my own instincts, I didn't follow my own guts. I didn't take my own advice, which is kind of the story of my life on fantasy in fantasy games. To be fair, not taking my own advice, but there we go. We live and we learn. We move on, of course. Sure, 2 points. Pickford 2 points. Pickford another slightly annoying one, because the Euro Fantasy app has him down as 2 saves. He made 3 saves in that game. I counted them. Don't worry. I'm one of those guys who sits there and counts the saves goalkeepers make during a game of football. And he made 3 saves. So I don't know why he was never given the save point. Maybe one of those saves didn't count. I don't know the exact definitions they have of saves. But yeah, I definitely counted 3. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But it's fine. I'll take the 2 points. It should be 3 really. But yeah. I'm not going to be salty about it. Let's move on, I guess, to next week. And yeah, I've got a really good team for you here. So guys, you're gonna like this team, hopefully, after I've explained it all anyway. So yeah, let's go. So, match day 7, blank canvas again. Let's start it all over again with a new team for the new week. And guys, I do want to quickly make a note of this because a few of you guys keep asking me why my budget is perhaps slightly different to yours. Well, budgets change depending on who you have in your team. If your players increase in value, then therefore, when you sell those players, you get the money back for them. So you increase your budget because your players have increased in value. So these players, just because they're changing in value all the time, that means your total budget is changing in value all the time. Now, I could do a lengthy explanation, but I'm sure a lot of you guys get how the budget works, so we'll move on. But that's just kind of why my budget might be slightly different to yours. So hopefully you've still got a really nice budget there anyway, 111.3. I'm certainly happy with as a budget. We can do a lot with that, and with 5 transfers as well, we can do a lot. So let's go through and put the players on the pitch, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do in terms of transfers and how I'm going to move things around a little bit. So we're going to start off with Donnarumma in goal. I'm pretty content with that one. You know, I have both Pickford and Donnarumma. I've got a straight pick. Who do I think is more likely to keep a clean sheet? And the answer for me is Italy. Some of you guys may disagree, but it's pretty plain and simple to me. And I think Donnarumma has just been a fantastic goalkeeper. You know, Pickford is obviously good. Has been very good in this tournament, maybe better at an international level than he is at club level. But Donnarumma has he's really impressed. I think everyone who has been watching him, some of the saves that he makes and stuff like that is really quite impressive. And, you know, Italy may be conceding a few chances. And when you've got a really good goalkeeper there, and maybe, you know, if Italy do go 1 goal up, for example, England might get a bit desperate, taking shots from range. Donnarumma is a good enough goalkeeper, a good shot stopper to make the saves. Save points are going to come in there as well, quite possibly. We've got in defence Shaw, Maguire and Emerson. Shaw, a very good option indeed. He has been very impressive, very creative there as well. We've got Maguire, who, you know, is there really just in case he gets a headed goal. I think that's why he's the preferred centre-back. If you're going to go for an England centre-back, it's got to be Maguire. I know a few people are probably going for Stones instead. For me, it's Maguire as that aerial threat. You can see when England are playing in those corners that Maguire is the one who is looking to get the header as well. Shaw on some set pieces as well, which is really nice. And Emerson, actually quite impressive last game. I thought he would look really good. Out of the 2 fullbacks, Emerson and Di Lorenzo, Emerson was definitely the one who was far more attacking. So it does seem like Italy are continuing their trend of a very, very attacking left back who basically is happy to play as a striker half the time, you know, charging right up the pitch, whether that's to get in across, whether that's to take a shot on himself. We love that. That's what it's all about, because with your defenders, you're looking for clean sheets primarily, but then after that, can you get a defender who can get you a goal, can get you an assist? And that's exactly what Emerson looked like he could provide in that last game. Obviously, it didn't happen on that occasion, but the signs were there, right? The signs were there. So into midfield, we've only got three midfielders who are eligible to play at the moment, and we are going to play a 5-man midfield, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a second. But we're going to play a 5-man midfield. I've only got 3 midfielders at the moment. Damsgaard and Sarabia have got on the train on elimination station, and they are off out of here, unfortunately for them. But Sterling, again, a wonderful performance. Again, won the penalty. Whatever you think about the whether it was a penalty or not, he did win it. He was in the right areas. He's in the right areas constantly, and that is a fact that he's in the right areas there. You know, he's taken on a few shots as well, some really good shots as well, shots that kind of other players would not necessarily take on. He has a lot of confidence right now, and so he should do. He's had a really good tournament. You know, been arguably England's best player in the tournament, you'd have to say. So yeah, really happy with him. We've got Insigne, the star of the Italy team, and obviously on those set pieces, which is really, really useful. You know, Italy maybe are kind of in this final game could be the kind of depend on a set piece. You know, the only goal that England have conceded so far was a free kick. Insigne is on the free kick, so there's all the possibility that is going to be the way that England concede if they do concede, and we maybe should assume that they will in this game. And then we've got Berardi, who is a bit of a 1-point bandit at the moment. You know, he's always on the bench. I don't think he is a favoured player anymore. But when he did come on, he looked pretty good, to be fair. He did look pretty good, but yeah, I expect him to be on the bench as well, to be honest. So, yeah, maybe a player we should consider removing from our teams, especially if we've got enough free transfers to allow for it. And then up front, we've got Harry Kane and Ciro Immobile, which is the two only real two strikers left in the tournament. I mean, it's quite as simple as that. Kane and Immobile both shooting for the golden boot in the tournament. It could happen. It could happen for either of them. If they score enough goals in this game, both of them will be on penalties unless Jorginho's on the pitch, in which case Jorginho will be on penalties, of course, for Italy. So yeah, they're just the only real options unless we get the team sheets and Belotti is starting, for example, or Marcus Rashford is starting, which I very much doubt either of those things are going to happen. I'm sure you guys will probably agree. These two are quite literally the only two strikers worth having, full stop, which is why we are going for this 3-5-2 formation, because there's really not enough strikers. Most of this competition I've been going 3 strikers. There's not enough. There really is not enough. Quickly on the bench, guys, we've got Pickford, who is not going to be playing because we're going for Donnarumma. We've got Yazabal, Alba, Mela, all eliminated, all gone. See you later. So what are we going to do about transfers? Well, I'll tell you exactly what we're going to do about transfers, guys. If you look on screen now, you can see that things have changed around a little bit. We have moved some players out. So, we've got rid of, obviously, the 2 midfielders who are eliminated. Damsgaard there is gone, and yeah. And the other midfielder who's moved on is Berardi as well. So you can see we've made 3 midfield changes there. So we've brought in Mount, Saka and Chiesa. And in defence, we've actually moved Maguire to the bench. We've taken out Alba and we put in Di Lorenzo. So we've only used 4 transfers. We've still got 2.2 million in the bank. So guys, even if you haven't got a Limitless, if you haven't got a Wildcard, there's every chance that you can still have this exact team. So let me tell you why this team is so good. Well, why I think it's so good. So, first of all, in terms of midfielders, for Italy, we don't really have many options. Strikers are clear cut. We know what forwards we're going for. It's always going to be Kane on Immobile. There's no choice. There really is no choice. In terms of midfielders, Insigne and Chiesa are the only real viable Italian midfielders in my opinion, because the other guys are, Barella, Verratti, Jorginho, these kind of players who are ultimately going to be traps, and they really are going to be traps. We saw this with Locatelli, we saw this with Barella. People brought these players in because they scored 1 goal, thinking, oh yeah, this is going to happen all the time, right? This is a thing, right? These midfield players, as fantastic as they are, and occasionally one of them will chip in with a goal or an assist, but typically in this Italian side, the goal scoring is left up to the wingers and the strikers, and the fullbacks are providing a lot of the creativity as well. So there is going to be occasional goal contributions from those 3 central midfielders, but Insigne and Chiesa, the 2 wingers, are playing much higher up the pitch, having more shooting opportunities. Those are the guys who are going to pick you up those fantasy points. So this is my opinion. If you want to take a risk on one of the other ones and just hope that today is the day that one of them scores a goal or gets an assist or something like that, absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with taking a punt on a player. But if we're looking at statistically who's the most likely to get these goal contributions, you look no further than Insigne and Chiesa. They've both been absolutely fantastic throughout this tournament. Plenty of creativity, but from both of them, plenty of shooting from both of them. We've got set pieces with Insigne as well. So it's as simple as that. There's only 2 midfielders for Italy, so that's why there's only 2 midfielders from Italy in my team. So the rest of the midfield is made up with Sterling, who I've talked about already, and we've got Mason Mount and Bukayo Saka. Obviously, Saka potentially might not play, but in my opinion, he has been one of England's best players in this tournament. I think he's been absolutely fantastic every time he's been on the pitch. He really has just looked really just absolutely tip top. Really brilliant stuff throughout. So yeah, we saw he got an assist as well last game from his cross, which was obviously an own goal, but he provided the cross and he was providing that creativity, and he just looks good. He looks really good, and we're looking for those good attacking players who are in the box, in and around the box, whether it's because they're creating, whether it's because they're shooting, whatever. We want the players furthest up the pitch, and Saka is definitely providing that. Mason Mount obviously on those set pieces, which is why he comes into play. Are England going to scrap through on a set piece and win the final? Possibly. If that happens, Mason Mount is going to be involved in that most likely. So that's a real good avenue in which a player can get some points. And also, he is the furthest forward of the midfield 3. Assuming England stick with the midfield 3, Mount will be the most advanced of those 3 for sure. So yeah, he will be providing a little bit there. So, guys, in defence, now, if I'm completely honest with you, I don't think this is going to be a game with a clean sheet. We're not really seeing clean sheets anymore in the tournament, are we? There was only one clean sheet in the whole of the quarterfinals. There was 0 clean sheets in the whole of the semi-finals, unless you had Emerson, who got subbed off early, you know. But yeah, I'm thinking kind of in a similar vein. I'm thinking of it in a similar vein in the sense that when we get to the end of the game, if one team is winning, then you know, the other team is going to get very, very desperate towards the end of the game to score, to equalise. Say one of these two teams is 1-0 up. Say Italy are 1-0 up, which is kind of what I'm going for here, or I guess a prediction. Say Italy are 1-0 up in the game, and suddenly England are going all out, trying to nick that goal in the 80th minute, 85th minute, 90th minute, whatever, and then going through for extra time, and then more goals are scored. We need to pick players who have a feasible chance of getting substituted off before all of that happens. We want to pick defenders who are going to get subbed early, and that is truly what I believe is the right tactic for this final, because I do think, you know, the drama of the final, there's going to be goals from both sides. I think clean sheets are a long gone thing. So, who is going to be substituted off before the end of the game? Well, we're talking about fullbacks. The centre-backs are not going to get substituted. Maguire's not going to get substituted. Stones isn't going to get substituted. Bonici is not going to get substituted. Chiellini is not going to get substituted. So we have to go for the fullbacks. When we look at Emerson, he got substituted last game. Di Lorenzo has a very good chance of being substituted before the end of the game. Luke Shaw, maybe not so much. If you really want to go for a player who's going to get substituted, then maybe Kyle Walker is actually the player you might want to go for instead, because there's a good chance that he can possibly come off the pitch to bring on Kieran Trippier, but that's kind of only really likely if England are losing. If England are winning, or then it's kind of less likely. If it's still 0-0 at the time, that would be kind of the only way that would work. But that's even more reason to go for some Italy players, because even if they're winning, there's still a huge chance of players like Di Lorenzo and Emerson getting substituted off, because they're typically attacking-minded fullbacks, and they perhaps be substituted off in favour of some of the more defensive-minded fullbacks or out-of-position centre-backs kind of thing, or a change of formation completely, which is what happened in the semi-finals. And to be fair, that happened to both teams in the semi-finals. They changed formation as soon as they got ahead in the game and went for a slightly more defensive formation and switched things about, which means players were moved around. So that's kind of the thinking there. And also, obviously, as I've spoken about all tournament, the fullbacks are getting points this season, this tournament, because they're getting goals, they're getting assists, they are playing very attackingly, and this is absolutely, it's been a fountain of points. It's been a fountain of points. So another reason to go for fullbacks, of course, but the bonus here is that we are looking for players who are likely to be substituted off, ideally in like the 60th minute, when they can just bank their clean sheet. They go off before they concede a goal. That's what we want, because I do think if it is 0-0, if it is 1-0, the end of the game is going to be pretty manic, and if it goes to extra time, then we're talking even more minutes for goals to be scored in. We want players who are going off, and then yeah, obviously we're going for Donnarumma. Now I do think, because everyone's going to have so similar teams, you're probably not going to be able to move rank too much at this stage. If you really want to move a rank, then maybe betting on a clean sheet is the way to go, and that's kind of what I've gone for here. I've gone for 3 Italy in defence and 1 England in defence, really, because I think Italy have the higher chance of a clean sheet, but I don't want to discount England completely. If you are really, really chasing right now, you really want to boost a rank, overcommit to 1 defence, just go all in on 1 defence and pray that they keep a clean sheet. I think that is one way that you could potentially move up a lot of places, because I think most people will go 2 and 2. 2 England defenders, 2 Italian defenders / goalkeepers, obviously. I think that's what most people are going to go for, to be honest. But if you want to go full send, you've got to go full send, which means committing, overcommitting, arguably. But I do think the most points are going to be gained by your captain. I think the captain decision is going to be one of the only ways that you can gain in this particular week. So I don't know who you guys are thinking of going for. My money is currently on Insigne, just because of those set pieces. But I do want to do a little bit more research and nail this one down. I will be, of course, tweeting my final team and my final captains and stuff like that. So do follow me on Twitter if you want to, at FPL Mate. I'm pretty active over there. So yeah, Insigne is the way I'm looking at the moment. High point ceiling as well, with him being a midfielder. But obviously we do have like Harry Kane is obviously a very good shout if you think England can score a goal here. You know, Italy conceded a few chances, you know, and if you think football's coming home, then why not? Especially later on in the game. And we've got, you know, Immobile is probably not the greatest shout. Chiesa is looking very good though. And Sterling has obviously been fantastic as well. So that's kind of really where you'd be looking at. Kane, Sterling, Insigne or Chiesa as the 4 captain options. And I really don't see anyone outside of that who's worth considering, unless you really want to go for a real outside punt, which is fair enough if you do, but it's not for me. I'm pretty content. At this point, I'm so gassed about being in the top 10k that's pretty good. So let's just not play it safe, but not do anything stupid. I'm certainly not in a position where I need to do anything too crazy. So I'm not going to be doing anything too crazy. But like I said, guys, if you do want to make those big moves, then, you know, do or die, nothing to lose, then maybe you do make some of those crazy decisions. But this, guys, is the team that I like the most. Obviously, on the bench, it doesn't matter. I've got a free transfer left to use. No point in me using it. I might just put Jude Bellingham on the bench for no apparent reason. The bench is pointless. It serves no purpose in the final because you can't make any substitutions during the game. So whoever you put on the first 11 players on your team sheet, those are the players. You just go with them. So don't worry about your bench too much. Just make sure you pick the best possible 11 players and just pretend your bench doesn't exist. If you have to save money on your bench, fine. Just pick the cheapest possible players on your bench. If you're trying to squeeze some more money into your team or whatever, it's all good because the bench serves no purpose in this match day. But there you go, guys. That is my team. Tell me exactly what you think about this. What would you do differently? What would you change? What do you like about this team? What do you dislike about it? Have I missed someone off who you think is going to bang in Matchday 7, the final? Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry it's been a slightly long one, but I've been trying to kind of pack as much stuff into this video as possible because it's going to be my only video. A few of you guys already know I am going to be on a stag do over this weekend, so I'm not actually going to have a chance to make any more fantasy content over the weekend. My best friends, you know, get married, having a stag do. I'm going to be in Leeds, far away from my computer, so if you see a fairly tall, slightly brown southern guy with long crazy hair, that's me in Leeds. So yeah, do come say hello. But yes, guys, that is pretty much it. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like it if you found this in any way useful. Please do subscribe if you are new around here. There probably won't be a stream because I'm going to be probably off somewhere getting very drunk watching the England game in the final. So don't expect a stream, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully you did enjoy this video. Hopefully we covered as much as possible in this video anyway. And yeah, hopefully it's just useful to you guys, as always. But there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you over on Twitter, probably most of all. And yeah, I'll catch you after the final. See you later, mates, and good luck. Bye-bye.